Hi. This is so awkward. Okay, so today here with my best friend Luciana, who I met in my first year of training at the national school in Uruguay, the Sodre. Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself?
God. So my name is Luciana Iraldi. I'm 18 years old. I think, 13. I was 12 at the time that I met Olivia.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
I was about to turn 13. I was so little. Um, well, I started the dance school like 2 years prior to her starting. I always wanted like a friend that kind of understood all my problems. And well, when I found out she was in the same class as I was really happy to say the least. And yeah, we actually got along quite well. Yeah.
Clearly. Yeah.
It was kind of awkward at first because neither of us actually wanted to speak English to each other because it was like everyone was listening, waiting for the moment to happen. So yeah, we just kind of had to get used to that, and well, here we are today.
Yeah, and then eventually we took advantage of that and pretended that we were saying bad things about people when we were just like saying anything, like anything but
Yeah.
that, and then everyone always thought we were talking about them in English. But yeah. Uh,
Seekers.
what?
Attention seekers.
Exactly. Anyways, yeah, so we met either like the second or third day of school of when school started, and we were in the same level but like different classes. So there's A and B classes, probably by age or I don't know what at that point.
Yeah, we kind of so we either think it was by age, so like we were in third grade, but there were girls that were older than the other half of the group. So let's say the oldest was, I don't know, at the time maybe almost 15. And yeah, how old were you?
I was 14. I was the oldest.
You had just turned 14. So I was 12, I was like in the middle, and there were girls that were 10 or 11. So yeah, we were divided by age or probably by alphabetical order, kind of,
I think
or
so.
technique. It kind of varied depending on the year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Just a girl from the other group told me that there was another gringa in class A. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, it was all full of Uruguayan people. There weren't any foreigners. Till like, I don't know, maybe 2 years after you were in, that other kids started showing up from other places.
Oh yeah.
Argentina and stuff like that. So
Argentina, and then there was Ishelle from Canada,
yeah.
and then actually when I auditioned, Sadie and Thomas were there too. You forgot about them? Yeah. Well, they left after 2 months.
Yeah, it was a really short time.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't stand it. They couldn't stand the pressure.
Yeah, okay, so wait, yeah, so the point of that was we were in same level, different classes, as in the A and B. So we met either the second or the third day, and yeah, we were walking because the school was in two different buildings. So we were walking from one school to the other, and everyone was watching us because they thought, oh my God, they're going to speak in English to each other, which is really awkward. But we were speaking to each other in Spanish because we were just too shy, I guess,
until I went to the bathroom. I think it was the day after we met. So we met the second day because we walked home. Well, we walked home. We walked to the other school that day, and then we just left. But the next day, we were at that school, and then I really needed to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and like sometimes you just forget about checking if there's toilet paper. And there was never toilet paper at that school, so I don't know why I just went in. I think I totally forgot that I needed some. So when I was done with all my business, I'm like, yeah. And the nearest person to me was Olivia. So I don't know why I said it in English, though. But I'm like, I need toilet paper. So she went downstairs, got some for me, and well, that's where we actually kind of started with our thing. A little cult.
Yeah, and then for like the rest of the year, so we had, because like now memories of the first year just kind of went out, but yeah, we had ballet class together 1 day a week, I think.
Yeah, on I think Wednesdays.
Yeah, because I remember having Matthias in front of me, and he was in B. So we always, at some point, we did have class together. And then everything else was together except for point class.
No. Point class was together. Ballet was separated.
Ballet
So
was
we would have. I don't know. I think we only had point once a week or twice.
Yeah. It was either once, and I think it was once a week, and then like towards the end of the year, maybe it was twice for the exams.
Yeah, so I remember us having classes on Wednesdays together, and then after the class together, we would have point together.
Point together. Okay.
And then also like modern and all those other subjects, we would have them together. But
yeah.
Otherwise.
That was it, yeah. Okay, so I wanted to bring up our coffee machine thing, because we did this yesterday, but it was like really out of context compared to.
Okay.
So we had our thing. I think it was maybe like halfway through the school year they installed the coffee machine.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think the coffee machine was there before you came in. Okay. I don't really remember because I didn't use it. Because I was really young at that age, so I wouldn't drink coffee because it makes me nervous. Like, it gives me kind of, like, anxiety. So, yeah, I think that year they just took it out because it broke, and they brought in a new machine that had a flaw. So, this machine had, like, these coin return buttons that you would press, and you would get the coin that you put in back in case, I don't know, you just didn't have enough money, or you were going to, I don't know, insert a coin that was more than what you needed. I don't know. So we later found out with a friend of mine, so a boy, that if you spammed that button, you would get the coin back, but the machine would still read that it had the money that you would put in for you to get a coffee. So, like, let's say you put 10 pesos in and you spam the button. The 10 peso coin would come out, but the machine still said it had 10 pesos in it. So you would do that a couple times until you got the amount of money that you needed for a coffee, and then you would just get your coffee and go on with the day.
Free coffee, yeah.
Exactly. So this time around, we were at the school rehearsing for what
was it the mid-year performance, the one where we had the blue costumes? The blue.
I think it was. You had blue and I had green. I was just looking at that picture today.
Yeah.
And for some reason, all three of us wanted coffee, so we did that little trick with Matthias. The thing was that the third time, we broke the machine. We didn't even realize that we did. We just got our coffee and went off. Yeah. But our salon was, like, right in front of the coffee machine. So, like, the door was here and the machine was here. So class went on, and then we saw that a bunch of people was, like, gathered around the machine, like, leaving with coffees. Like, if it was, I don't know, on sale.
Exactly, yeah.
It was weird because barely anyone would even buy from it because it was quite expensive at the time. I mean, it was $50, but here it seemed like a nice amount of money, let's say.
For what the coffee was.
Yeah, it was a small cup. So a lot of people were getting their coffees, and we were like, okay, this is kind of weird. Yeah. Later, we found out that what happened was that we kind of broke the machine. So people were getting free coffees because the machine would constantly say that it had 25 pesos for you to use. So a person would be like, oh, there's 25 pesos. I can get a free coffee. Boom. They left. The other person, oh, there's 25 pesos. And that just went on till the director noticed. And, well, they had to repair it. But, yeah. That was our first story. Then, do you want to mention coffee break or coffee?
Coffee with Luciana and Olivia.
Yeah, you have to insert those videos though.
Yeah, so we had, yeah. I'll insert them after, unless you want to watch it now.
Please no.
Okay.
We already watched
them without a phone.
It's painful.
Yeah, they were really painful and cringy. So our first year there, we created an Instagram account and we did coffee hour with Luciana and Olivia. And we talked about basically nothing because our life was, my life at least, was taking the bus there, which was like 3 hours, getting to the school and studying, and then taking the bus back, and then that was like it, and then high school, and then it was basically the same thing for you.
My life is going to school, going to ballet, going back home.
Yeah, so we like said nothing, and actually in the video, which I'll put on after, you asked me, so what's new with your life? And we just cut the video because I obviously guessed I said like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take 2. And today on Coffee Break with Luciana and Olivia, we have a mochaccino and a hot chocolate, and we're going to be talking about life. You just spilled it. So, Olivia, how's your life?
Yeah. Oh, but then we upped it. We upped our coffee game the next year, and I think the year after, where we would actually go out and get coffee. And we had a thing
where we would lab times.
Yeah, there were sometimes towards the end of the year where we had like an hour break or something in between, which was rare. Yeah, and then we would just like walk around the city looking for coffee. Yeah. Fun times. I wanted to talk about the nutritionist again and that whole lovely thing. I really loved how you said it yesterday with the whole scale thing. So first off, we can get into the lovely recommendations and then like that. So the nutritionist, I didn't go in to talk to her that much, for one, because she thought I didn't understand what she was telling to me, thank goodness, which was good, because then I would just get away with doing this. Plus she thought I was stupid because I didn't say that I ate like all these different things, so she just thought, I guess, that I had no idea what I was talking about. But so, since I didn't experience her quite as much, you can share the lovely nutritionist story. Oh, and before that, we got weighed at the school like every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Anyways, but yeah, so you can dive in.
The flaw this school had was we had a nutritionist.
The only flaw.
The only.
No.
Okay. So we had a nutritionist who was really bad at her job. Like, if she wasn't pregnant and not going in because she had, maternity. Don't you remember her being pregnant?
No.
Okay, well, she was. I think she got pregnant 2 times.
Okay.
Or once. I don't remember. She was either on maternity leave or she was giving us really bad advice. So, we had this classmate, though. We have to, like, start giving some context so then we could, okay.
Yeah.
Start talking about her.
About our classmate.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we had a classmate, which I didn't know until yesterday when you told me, actually was in and out of a hospital in both of our last years going to the school due to an eating disorder. And I guess that she was also called into the nutritionist office and was taking that advice, right?
Yeah. She was taking that advice a little too
much.
Yeah.
So that was one classmate. Then we have the other classmate who, you know who I'm talking about, who also took the advice a bit too literally and went a bit overboard, and that resulted in a lot of
gas.
Air pollution. Yeah, okay, gas.
Methane.
Methane emissions.
Okay, so this nutritionist would basically, like, her only advice to us would be eat more fruit, drink more yogurt, and what else? Like, eat less wheat products or gluten things, all that stuff.
Eat more frequently, eat the yogurt, eat as much fruit as possible, and the magic toast.
Magic toast, which I'm conveniently eating right now. So this obviously was all engraved in my head.
Yeah. Wait, so magic toast is like what, rice or barley?
I think it's rice.
Okay, so they're just Rice
It has
Krispies.
a bit of wheat though.
Okay, because I remember her telling me to replace any form of snack that I ever had with Magic Toast. Whenever I was hungry or wanted something, eat the Magic Toast. And I'm like, okay. I never did that, but I would always see it, and I'm like,
I would have it for breakfast. Like this packet of little toasties would be like my whole source of energy for the whole morning.
yeah.
6 of these. Okay, so anyway, those would be like her only 3 pieces of advice. And for me in particular, I always had like really big legs because genetically I'm built like that. Like since I'm a kid, it's not that I was fat, because I'm looking at pictures recently of us, and we were really small, and we all thought we were fat at that time, like thanks to her. So it's really bad. But yeah, she told me to drink more yogurt and eat more fruits, specifically oranges, mandarins, all of those citric.
I guess citrus fruits, because they're like low in sugars or something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But later I found out that she was just trying to make me go to the bathroom.
To just have it like always coming out.
Oh, exactly, because all she would say is try to eat it at the same time. Like when you have a snack, eat it at the same time. So like, how is that good for me? And later I found out through my mom, because I was once watching TV, and obviously I was having a whole thing of these of yogurt, because here the yogurt comes in like little plastic bags. And I was eating 3 mandarins, and mom just looked at me and she's like, Lucy, you're going to poop out your intestines. Stop doing that. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. The nutritionist told me that. So yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, so since we're talking about the mandarins and that, going back to our classmate who took the advice a bit too literally for like all year, I think, right?
She always did it. Like, I think she still does it to this day. It's like a piece of her.
It's part of her now. Yeah. She would buy a whole bag full of mandarins, like 15 or something.
She basically replaced her food, her normal food, like what you would have for lunch, I guess, with mandarins. So she wouldn't eat like, I don't know. What would someone have for lunch?
Meat, rice, vegetables, something like that.
Instead of having, let's say, chicken and rice, she would have 10 mandarins. Or a very large amount of them.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what that does to the body, like a human's body. But we found out by our noses that it wasn't really good for you. So like it would make digested. At least it would make her really gassy. And well, yeah, winter at that school was very bad.
Yeah, because the windows were closed, and then we had the air circulating the air.
At 30.
What?
Degrees Celsius. The air conditioner was always at 30 degrees Celsius, so that's really hot. For like a salon where you're dancing and you're actually already sweating. Yeah. So the air would be like really concentrated and smelly. I don't know how we never passed out in there.
Sometimes it got to a point, especially during like the strengthening, the física.
Uh-huh.
That was unbearable.
It really was.
That's like the worst. The other ones were kind of doable because we're always like moving around the room, whereas that one, we avoided sitting next to her or like being in the zone. Yeah, but what?
Meet me at the bar.
Meet me at the bar.
We would just try to not be in the same bar as her. But sometimes, remember, the teacher used to like move us around because sometimes she wanted to see people more than others. So, yeah.
We got stuck next to her.
Sometimes we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to,
She would blame it on other people.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention that. She would, yeah. Okay, so she would get up, like, while this is wafting around the room, she would be like, oh my god, what is that? Do you guys smell this? And we're like, we do!
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you want to also talk about the whole chart thingy that you were telling me yesterday?
So, the nutritionist literally told me, like, this straight, like, how it is. She told me that in order for us to be considered the appropriate weight to dance, pediatricians here have, like, a graph where they kind of, like, mark where you're at with your weight. So, there's this green line that indicates that you're okay. Then a yellow and a red above it, that means you're either a little overweight or obese. And then there's a yellow and a red line beneath it that mean that you're underweight or you're anorexic. So what the nutritionist once told me was that in order for you to be considered the correct weight, you needed to be between the yellow and the red line in that graph, beneath the green one. So basically, you needed to weigh quite a good amount less than the normal person's weight at your age for you to be okay to dance. Which isn't actually really healthy, because let's say I was 15 at that time that she told me that. I was about to turn 15. I was 14, actually. And I weighed 50 kilos. So that meant that I had to lose 5 kilos. So that meant I had to weigh 45, which was my goal till like a year ago. Because, you know,
it just stays, yeah.
Yeah, it stays in your head. So, yeah, sometimes you just have to admit that's not really possible. And even like if you're trying to go to the gym, like I'm trying to go to the gym now, as much as I can, let's say. So, I don't know, if you're building muscle, it's impossible for you to lose weight because muscle is heavier than, you know, fat. So,
yeah, and that's what I liked about our exercise the exercise teacher, strengthening, whatever.
Yeah.
He would like, yeah, he would explain this to us. He's like, and I totally agree with it. It doesn't really matter what the number is on the scale. It more so matters what you physically look like because muscle weighs more than fat. Like I remember him saying, if you go to the carniceria, if you go to the butcher. And you find a hunk of meat and a hunk of fat, the piece of muscle meat, if there's no fat on it, is going to be a lot smaller, but will weigh the same amount as a huge hunk of fat. So it didn't really make sense. Like, it doesn't really matter what the number is. It more so matters what you look like. So therefore, that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, and exactly. That's what, like, the nutritionist is supposed to tell us stuff like that. And she never did. No. And also, a really big problem was that almost all of us, because girls in the school are still really young, we're going through puberty at the time, which makes it really much more harder for you either to lose weight or be mentally stable enough to take the information that they're actually throwing at you, because they're not like, oh, you should lose this. They're like, no, you have to. Because if not, we're going to keep weighing you every single time we see you and call you in and give you new diets. And they were just really...
Well, yeah.
With that, persistent is
persistent. But what also like didn't make any sense to me is that they didn't actually like explain any of this to the parents. It was always with us students. Which, exactly. If anything, we're still young. We're not buying and cooking our food ourselves. They should like explain it to the parent more so. But
besides, like we were developing eating disorders that without our parents knowing. Like, what the nutritionist was telling us, obviously, like, they never, or at least they took a longer time in realizing what was happening to us than if it would have, like, if it were a nutritionist parent type thing.
Right, yeah.
Not us. Because, I mean, I can't control what my mom cooks while I'm at school.
Yeah. We did a lot of crazy, stupid stuff during our time going to that school that I don't exactly know, like, what would be the most relevant to mention because all of the stuff was kind of crazy.
I'm just trying to think of something that got us in trouble once. But
okay, I know. We didn't get in trouble, though.
We got in trouble, though.
We never really got, like, in bad trouble, though.
No, but I remember one time that we did, and you were, like, all about it, like, all shy. And I was like, yes. We were always like that, though. But I can't remember. I'm going to remember in these days. But, yeah.
Okay, but what I do remember, which I think this was in 4th year, it was in flamenco class, and I broke down in tears because I had enough of our class.
You just couldn't stand the girls.
Yeah, I understandably, because it got, like, really out of hand in our flamenco classes because the teacher wasn't quite as strict. So the girls could just, like, be on their phone, do whatever. He was too
nice. Like, he wasn't
a bad teacher. He was a good teacher, but he was just way too nice for little kids.
To me, he was the best teacher we had, to me, because I had, like, a more, I don't know. My relationship with him was, I think, different, but because I kind of knew him because my best friend's mom was friends with him. I don't know. I just had that connection with him since I started going, so yeah. But he wasn't really strict at all, only with, like, correcting us with our flamenco dances. So then, like, girls would be able to do whatever they wanted in his class, and he wouldn't say a single word. It's like, if you want to learn, you can pay attention. If you don't want to learn, then do your thing. I'm not going to say anything to you, but, you know, your grades are obviously going to go down.
Yeah.
Which, good way of learning, I think, for the guys that are, like, doing anything but ballet.
Yeah.
Like dance. But the girls that are trying to learn, is actually kind of difficult for us to concentrate and want to be there if there's girls screaming or dancing or doing whatever, TikToks, filming musicallys.
Musicallys at the time, yeah.
God, I remember that, though. Like, I'm starting to remember now.
Yep.
And yeah, like, he would know that it was annoying, but he can't really do much because he's not like a ballet teacher, like a teacher that has quite a lot of
like authority.
Exactly, like authority. So he would just have to put up with it. And yeah, it got to a point where Olivia couldn't stand girls anymore, and she just broke down crying after class. And the teacher stood at her looking like, what's wrong?
I remember that, and I'm like, it's the girls, and I felt like so rude saying that. I'm like, it's the classmates, like, I can't stand them. And it was funny because he was like, I completely understand and I get it. And then he left the room after saying that to go, like, speak with the secretary or I don't know what. Mm-hmm. And then the both of us with your mom, we went to go speak to the director.
Yeah, we did. We did.
So we went to the director's office and we spoke with him, and he didn't really, like, fix the situation at all. He just told us to watch a movie line from Rocky to, like, inspire us. He told us to watch a movie line from Rocky to inspire us to keep working hard. Yeah.
You know what's the worst part? I memorized that. Like,
quote it.
Wait, no, I don't remember it anymore, but okay, I did.
I meant like you memorize it now. Okay.
Let's look it up.
We will,
and you're gonna have to watch it again.
Yeah.
Worth, now go out and get what you're worth, but you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. You're better than that.
It's a little too inspirational for our case. Because like, we were just like, you need to do something about this.
Like, just make the girls, like, more follow along the rules or not be so, like, crazy. Yeah.
Like, if you're strict enough with all our weight stuff and, you know, being late and all that, can't you be strict with our attitude in class or, like, the way we act or I don't know, respect towards teachers, just the bare minimum. Like, you can't be doing anything else than dancing if a teacher is giving class. I don't know. It's just basic respect, I guess.
Yeah, and that never improved.
It never did.
Maybe.
Who is there? Oh, Borghetti.
It's not Ricciotto?
It was for a year. One single year.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what happened because she became the director of the company. So then I was like, why is she doing both things? Because that would be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay then. But on the topic of teachers, there was one teacher who I don't think many people loved. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Crazy hair?
Crazy hair.
Her.
Yeah. For the first year, for whatever reason, she liked me and would give me a passable mark, and then it gave everyone, because it was what, out of 10 or out of 12?
12, I think.
12. She would give me 6, which is like passable, and I remember she gave everyone like 2 and 4.
I remember.
Yeah, she would give. I remember I was like, I got mine and I saw 6 and I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad. And everyone was like, Manuel was like, oh my god, you got a 6. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh my god, that's nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, showing me like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm like. And then the next year she gave me the low numbers.
Yeah.
And then the next year too. Yeah, she was like the first person. Okay, so this is where I think, okay, so the school is not a good school for technique or ballet, really, right? But she was actually the first person that made me think, oh my god, like, I'm not doing anything about ballet. Because we had all these teachers that were always telling us, you need to use your head, you need to use your arm, you need to put your arm like this, you need to, like, think about all these things. But it never, like, fully registered. And for whatever reason, once when we had class with her, she was like, every single time you pass through first position in the rond de jambe, you need to think of your heel pushing forward, your toes pushing back, your heel going like this, your foot pointed but also winged. And she's like, you need to think about that every single time. And I'm like, no one said this to me ever. Like, tiny detail. So she was actually, like, really precise with that. And that's where I think the school was lacking in everything, because despite the fact that she was very scary and not a great person, she actually, like, had that down compared to all the other teachers who obviously, like, understood it, but they never, like, really instilled that into us, that you need to be thinking of anything and everything always.
I think the part where the school went bad was mixing a bunch of different teachers that were taught different types of ballet.
I was just gonna, yeah.
So I think in her case, I think she studied here in Uruguay, but then she studied in, I think, the States.
I think she did, like, ABT style.
Husband.
Yeah.
Because he also danced there. So yeah, obviously they know the type of ballet that we were being taught at that school. But then we had teachers that had studied in Hungary. Blair had studied in Hungary, right?
Yeah,
and
there's a
bunch of other places that it was just mixing us all up, and they were giving us different advice on certain, like exercises or stuff like that. And in one class we had to do that, and then in the other class we would have to do a different thing. So I remember I once had a really bad problem with something, and I don't remember what. I think it was like a type of turn or something, that one teacher told me that I had to do it a certain way. And then the other day when I had class with another teacher, that teacher told me to do it a different way.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it could work if we did, like, we learned the basic foundation of everything all strictly in one way. And then just so that we're exposed to different styles, they later on teach it to us once we have it, like, really well down. Would work. But if we're 12, 13, 14 in the basic levels, continuously mixing everything depending, like, every other day, then it doesn't help at all. Yeah. So that's where it was lacking.
And also, wait, these were your first experiences with ballet, right? Like, he had danced over at home, but...
I don't know if I ever told you, but when I was 12, when I was 10, I asked for a pair of pointe shoes for my birthday and a DVD on how to use pointe shoes. That was what I was doing before going to the Sodre. I had, like, almost a full school year of going to the studio, but it wasn't, like, ballet. I'll send you photos later. I was so bad. And the pointe shoes that I had were, like, 10 sizes too big because I didn't know what kind of pointe shoes I needed. How many toe pads? I wore 3 toe pads. Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, like, you're also something that really took a toll on your body when you started the school was that you weren't really used to doing ballet because you had just started, like, 4 years ago. So, obviously, that's a lot of pressure now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
I mean,
like most of us.
But, yeah, like, you were used to, like, the hours and, like, the format of everything.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah, since I was little, like, I did dance. I didn't do ballet. I remember hating ballet. That's the worst part. Like, when I danced at, like, in the States, I did everything but ballet. Like, I had to do 2 classes per week because I was on the competition team.
Yeah.
If I wasn't on the competition team, I wouldn't have had to do ballet. So I remember going to ballet and being in the bar, and I was just like, this class never ends. I hate this. Like, I wanted to leave. I even considered stop competing so I could stop doing ballet. But that, yeah, no. So I don't really know why when I moved here, I'm like, yeah, ballet, let's go. I think it's because it's the only school that has an intermediate level of dance because the rest are really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when we first arrived to Uruguay, we went to this one ballet studio, and it was run by a former ballerina of the company. I don't remember her name. I think it was, like, Claudia or something. And she told my mom that girls can't do ballet for an hour because it's too difficult. So she would have half an hour of, like, maybe bar work and skipping, and then half an hour where she would play pop music, and then we could just do whatever we wanted. And so that's why Georgia and I, my sister, we never ever, like, really did any ballet until I finally went to the Sodre. Yeah.
Okay, so half an hour of dancing and half an hour of nothing.
Party, yeah. What else can we talk about that's, like, crazy that happened at the school?
Favoritism, maybe?
Oh my gosh, that's right. Okay, so in 3rd year, and then in 4th year, and then in 5th year, for me, there were the shows at the company, and then they would have, like, they would choose people sometimes to go perform with the company.
Kids.
Yeah, and I was short enough, and I was getting, like, a high enough mark that I could be, like, considered, but they never even, like, put me to, like, an audition or, like, they never brought me to the company to be, like, considered. They just never even, and so then I thought, like, why?
Yeah, not even as, like, what's it called?
Like a understudy.
Understudy.
Yeah.
Understudy of, like, one of the girls, not even that.
No.
Like, Sleeping Beauty, they would give the girls 2 roles. So, like, they were, I think, some yellow pom-pom thingy, and then another, and purple. I don't know, they were different colors on different days, and it's like, well, can't you just have this group of girls dance this, I don't know, 2 days, and then have another group of girls get the chance to dance there? Because, did you ever step on that stage?
Nope.
I danced there once. And it was for the, like, 50-year anniversary or something like that of the Sodre. And leave anyone out, so all of us had to dance.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, of course, I was there. And, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just realized I did go on that stage. We did the doble corchea. And because I don't know why, character teacher, who then became my repertory teacher, gave me, like, a lead role. So then we performed it with the orchestra school. We performed it on the stage. So we actually did, okay, so I did step on the stage.
Uh-huh.
And I did dance on stage. So
Okay.
it was like, yeah, it was the worst stage ever. I think they put like these planks under it, so at like every other part, it was like a dip.
Yeah, I can't remember at all because all I did was, what did we do? The
Polonesa.
Polonaise. Yeah, we did that. I couldn't remember the name, but yeah. It was just that. We walked on stage, reverence, bye.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah. Really fun.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so now we can talk about our last year at the school. For you, you were in Nivelación, which is like between basic. No, it's like its own separate.
Yeah, but it's technically like between basic and superior. So let's say a year. So Nivelación are 2 years. If you audition for the school and they put you in first grade, that means that you only have 2 years till you get to superior. And if you audition for the school and you get to first, but of the normal grades, then you have to go through 4 years of ballet to get into superior. So I think it's like an intense course. Kind of, yeah, because we were doing exercises from 5th grade too. It was like a mix of 4th and 5th.
It's like if you're older to get ahead quicker to be able to get into the older levels.
Yeah. Because, well, there's like a rule. There was a rule, but it was kind of broken after some of my classmates from that year were too old to fit in those rules, so they kind of like, they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a rule that for you to be, you had to be, I think, younger than 17 or 16 to be in 4th year. So if you were older, you couldn't stay. You either had to pass or leave the school. And that year, like when they implemented the 80-point mark to go to 5th, was it 80 or 60?
80.
You had to reach a certain level. Yeah, you had to reach 80 points in the exam to be able to pass. And that was quite a lot. Like, yeah, it was a lot. So, yeah, a lot of girls started repeating after they put that rule in. And, well, they just had to take the max age out for people to be able to still go and dance.
Yeah. So for Nivelación, you had your exams in October.
Yep.
Okay. Because you stopped going in October and I stopped going to all the classes except for ballet in like September maybe. But I still had my exam in December, so I was just doing ballet class because then we went and we watched the performance together.
Yeah, I don't remember what they did. Oh, I think they did an open class that year.
They did like a choreographed open class and then Bayadere again. Because we did it in 4th year, like, version of it.
Yeah, it was like a very short version of each scene.
Yeah. It was just I think it was just the grand wedding, right? Yeah. Because they didn't have everything.
I don't really know anything about Bayadere.
Okay. No, it just occurred to me now that they did like a weird combination of a bunch of dances. So they had the dance that we did the year before, the dun 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 dun. We did that the year before.
Well, we
so
did a lot.
Yeah.
We did like 4 different dances.
But we didn't do the original choreography. I think they like made up their own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then the year after where we watched it, they had that dance that I just hummed, which is from, I think, like the 2nd act, and then they had like the rest of the 3rd act or something. So it was like a weird combination of everything. Yeah.
I don't know. So we went and watched that after our exams, or I think before. We had already left though, so we weren't dancing there anymore. But yeah, basically I had my exams in October, and yeah, that year I did the exam. I think it was a bit before Halloween or after. Like, if it wasn't, I think it was after, like, the first days of, I think it was November 6th, now that I'm thinking about it. And, yeah, we did the exam and I left. Like, November 7th, I never went back to that school to dance. The teachers never knew, like, what happened to me till I went and retrieved my report card to see if I had passed or not. I didn't really care either because I wasn't going to go back. And turns out that I had repeated again. Everyone repeated except for 2 girls.
I want to cry. I finished editing the video until where you see it now, and later came to find out the rest of our call that we had deleted. It deleted itself, which sucks because it got better and it was, yeah, fun. So I'm gonna have to call her again and I guess re-record everything. That kind of sucks. Anyways, that's why I have this red microphone, because I'm angry. So to commemorate losing that footage, I'm just gonna make a cringy montage of Luciana and I in our Sodre days at the ballet school. Yeah.
Take 296. Action.
Kylie Jenner to the foyer. I have a surprise for you.
Is that a chicken?